Picture yourself standing at a metro station in the center of Bangalore. The platform buzzes quietly with expectation. There's no driver in sight, no one at the front. And yet, right on schedule, a sleek modern train glides in. Smooth and silent, it's ready to carry passengers forward, into the future. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie, it's real, right now, in India's own Silicon Valley. Bangalore has just introduced its first fully automated driverless metro train, but this isn't just another new transport feature, it's a statement, a bold one. It says India is stepping firmly into the next era of urban transport. By doing this, Bangalore joins the league of major global cities experimenting with automation, artificial intelligence, and smarter public transit solutions. More importantly, though, it marks a much bigger ambition to transform India's fast-growing cities into cleaner, more efficient spaces. This particular train, it came from China. And that detail alone pulls us into a deeper, more layered story, one that includes high-end tech, geopolitics, visa delays, and a fragile partnership between two powerful nations that don't always see eye to eye. Because this train isn't just about modernity, it's a test of how far cooperation, diplomacy, and ambition can stretch when they're thrown onto the tracks of development. What appears to be a high-tech metro is just the visible part of a much bigger narrative. Bangalore's automated metro may be running now, but the journey to this point was anything but smooth. India had a bold vision: build a driverless metro line that would ease congestion, lower pollution, and reshape public transport in one of its busiest cities. But vision alone wasn't enough. It needed expertise, most of which came from abroad. Specifically, India brought in 21 highly trained engineers from China. These weren't just technicians. They were crucial for setting up and fine-tuning the control systems that power the driverless trains. Then came the hiccup. Their visas were delayed for weeks. Bureaucracy, red tape, whatever you want to call it, kept them out and pushed back the timeline, much to the frustration of local planners. This is where it gets tricky. India is pushing for technological self-reliance, but it still depends heavily on international cooperation, especially with China, for specialized parts and skills. And that reliance is awkward, given the ongoing political friction between the two countries. Border conflicts, rising nationalism, it all creates a strange tension. On one hand, Indian cities need Chinese engineering. On the other, politics gets in the way. So what you get is this strange dance. High-tech trains designed for Indian cities that can't function without Chinese expertise. Yet the same governments who approved the deals are the ones stalling progress. It's a perfect example of how modern tech can get caught in old-world red tape and mistrust. Imagine a Formula One car stuck in a traffic jam, not because the engine failed, but because someone lost the paperwork. This wasn't just a minor hiccup. The delay highlighted a bigger truth. Even in an era of automation, human diplomacy still calls the shots. Now that the engineers are here and the trains are running, it's easy to forget how close the project came to stalling. But this moment tells us something vital. The future of urban transit isn't just about machines, it's about people and politics too. So what makes these trains so advanced that India needed help to begin with? Let's break it down. Why the fuss over these trains? What makes them so special that experts had to fly in from the other side of the world? Well, picture a train system with no driver. None. Not even behind the scenes. These metro trains use an advanced setup called Communication-Based Train Control, or CBTC. Think of it like a digital brain for the metro. It tracks, adjusts, and manages every train in real time. In practical terms, that means trains can run as close as 90 seconds apart, compared to the 2.5 minutes in older systems. That might seem minor, but in a packed city like Bangalore, it means moving thousands more people every hour. And it's not just about speed. These metros come packed with features: smart sensors, automatic braking, emergency alerts, and platform screen doors that open and close perfectly in sync with the trains. All of it makes the system safer, faster, and more reliable. They even use energy-efficient regenerative braking, turning braking power back into electricity to feed the train or grid. Here's the challenge. Installing and fine-tuning all this isn't as simple as plugging in a new gadget. The Chinese engineers brought hands-on experience with these systems, experience that's tough to replace quickly. That's why Indian authorities partnered with Chinese firms, not just for equipment, but for knowledge transfer. It's not copying, it's learning. Local companies like Titagar Rail Systems are now helping build the components, picking up design insights, and building local capacity. Think of it like this. China brought the recipe and the chefs. India brought the kitchen and the hunger. Now they're learning to cook together. And that collaboration could pay off, not just for Bangalore, but for metro projects across the country. With every shared project, Indian engineers are getting closer to running these systems on their own, but zoom out, and it's part of a much bigger picture. That brings us to the next chapter. Bangalore's transformation, and why this metro project matters more than it might seem. Bangalore is often called India's own Silicon Valley, a place where new ideas take off quickly, and where the population seems to grow even faster. But that rapid growth comes with serious pressure. The city's infrastructure is stretched thin. Roads not built for this level of traffic are packed from morning till night. Buses are overcrowded and falling behind. Traffic jams can last for hours. Each year, the city loses billions of rupees in productivity due to gridlock. But beyond economics, there's a personal toll too. Long daily commutes, rising pollution, and growing stress. That's where the metro system comes in. Not as a nice-to-have, but as a necessity. The new Yellow Line and its driverless trains aren't just cool tech. They're survival tools in an urban sprawl. Every new station opens up space. Every train removes hundreds of cars from the roads. Every saved minute in commute time is time returned to people's lives. But this goes beyond just moving people. It's about how Bangalore wants to be seen. The city isn't aiming to be just India's IT capital. It wants to join the ranks of world-class cities, ones built on innovation, smart design, and efficiency. Metro upgrades, especially with futuristic features like autonomous trains, send a message. Bangalore isn't stuck in the past. It's pushing forward, fast. And that's why the stakes are so high. If Bangalore can successfully scale its transit systems, reduce congestion, and support ongoing growth, it sets the blueprint for every other Indian city struggling with similar issues. But progress rarely follows a straight path. Up next, we'll look at what's threatening to slow this momentum. Rising political friction, security worries, and growing concerns over China's expanding role in India's infrastructure boom. Just beneath the high-tech exterior of Bangalore's new metro lies a much more layered and often uneasy reality. Because while these trains operate without drivers, the decisions behind them are anything but automatic. Let's start with the basics, like visas. Remember the 21 Chinese engineers? Their arrival was delayed for months due to visa bottlenecks. These weren't casual visitors. They were essential to setting up the core systems of the driverless line. Without them, testing and installation ground to a halt. And this wasn't a one-time issue. It fits into a larger trend. India's cautious and often inconsistent approach to international technical partnerships, especially those involving China. At the core of this hesitation is a lack of trust. India and China share a history of border disputes, military standoffs, and deep diplomatic suspicion. These high-level tensions trickle down into projects on the ground. Even something as straightforward as a train line becomes part of a much bigger political chessboard. This puts Indian policymakers in a bind. On one side, China provides reliable, cost-effective, and advanced solutions. On the other, there are rising fears about national security, strategic dependence, and the long-term control of foreign-made systems. What if there are hidden vulnerabilities in the tech? What if spare parts stop arriving? What happens if the geopolitical climate worsens and leads to sanctions or blocked supply chains? These aren't imaginary concerns, they're shaping real policy decisions today. Some leaders argue India must become fully self-reliant, even if it means more time and higher costs. Others say the current demand is too urgent, and international collaboration remains necessary for now. It's a tug-of-war between forward momentum and protective caution. The result? Delays, uncertainty, and missed chances, not just in Bangalore but in metro projects all over the country. But here's the twist. Despite the politics, Chinese firms continue to deliver. And in city after city, the outcomes speak louder than the concerns. In the next section, we'll explore those moments, when Chinese tech didn't just work, but helped transform Indian public transit. For all the controversy, here's one thing that's hard to deny. Chinese metro systems have had a big and mostly successful role in India's urban transport growth. Take Mumbai Metro Line 1. It was India's first metro run as a public-private partnership. In the air-conditioned, modern trains, they came from China's CRRC Corporation. The result, a high-frequency service that now moves over 400,000 people every day. For many in Mumbai, those trains are the difference between long, stressful road commutes and getting to work on time. Or look at Delhi Metro Phase 3, one of the biggest upgrades in the country. Chinese firms weren't just train suppliers. They helped build underground tunnels and installed key systems like boring and shielding tech that made construction faster and more reliable. Then there's Noida Metro. It's another booming region full of IT parks and residential hubs. CRRC-supplied trains there glide smoothly across town, serving thousands daily. What sets these trains apart? They're designed with commuters in mind. Bright screens for route updates, automatic doors, climate control, and onboard emergency tools are now expected features, thanks to these projects. But beyond the passenger perks is a bigger shift. Chinese companies brought strict timelines and global construction standards to a field long troubled by delays and budget overruns. Take Shanghai Tunnel Engineering Co., also known as Tunnel Share. They've been active in India since 2007. Over time, they've raised expectations across the board, challenging local contractors to meet international benchmarks in safety, speed, and execution. It's not just new equipment, it's a new approach. India's metro systems are learning to be more efficient, reliable, and commuter-focused through this collaboration. So even with all the disagreements and delays, the record speaks for itself. Chinese metro technology hasn't just delivered, it's helped reshape how India builds its cities. But the big question remains: how does India keep evolving without sacrificing control? Let's bring it all together with a look at the lessons Bangalore offers and what it means for the future of Indian cities. Bangalore's driverless metro isn't just another line on the map. It's a sign of what can happen when vision, global tech, and cooperation come together, even if that collaboration is messy. Think about the journey. A cutting-edge train designed with international support, built to solve one of Bangalore's toughest problems, traffic overload. Along the way, there were delays, paperwork issues, and geopolitical friction. All of it shows that when projects cross borders, progress is rarely smooth. Still, this story teaches us something crucial. Infrastructure in today's world isn't only about machines, it's about policy, partnerships, and the people behind the scenes. Innovation doesn't respect borders. From electronics to metros, global supply chains are intertwined. India has to walk a fine line, develop local talent, protect national interests, but still remain open to global expertise. And even when countries don't see eye to eye, they can work together when the shared goal is better cities. As Bangalore continues to expand its metro capacity, welcoming tens of thousands of new riders each day, it becomes a live test case for India's future. Can this model be scaled across the country? Can India smooth out policies to avoid similar delays next time? And perhaps most importantly, can short-term partnerships become long-term strengths? If the answer is yes, then this driverless metro isn't just a flashy new ride. It's a roadmap, a smarter, faster, more connected vision for urban India. And as this new era unfolds, one thing is clear: our future cities won't be shaped by machines alone. They'll be built by how we choose to collaborate, to innovate, and to keep moving, one track, one station, and one smart step at a time. If this story sparked your interest, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech and trends shaping tomorrow. From urban planning to global politics. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.